Now, how important is finding like the right agency to represent you, especially being a nail artist? Like, how important is that? And what are some tips could you give for someone who wants to, have an agency to represent them?
It's super important to make sure that you find the right fit for an agency, because there's nothing worse than being assigned to an agency and you're not working, because that's not the point of having an agent. Your agent is supposed to get you work. And so if you're assigned somewhere and you're not working, that's pretty much pointless. With me in my situation, the first agency that signed me just worked out for me in that time period. And once I left them and I was searching for other agencies, it became very apparent that I have to make sure that I'm somewhere where I'm going to be heard, because I am a nail artist that does not offer every service. I don't do acrylic. I haven't touched acrylic since I left nail school. And so it was very important to me to find an agency who was going to make sure that anytime someone reached out, whether it was a celebrity for a house call or whatever, I needed them to understand that you cannot send me somewhere and that client wants acrylic. I'm not the person for them. And so when I was searching for another agent, I actually ran into that issue where the agent that I was interviewing with wanted to send me out on a job. And I asked, very specific questions. What does the client want? What, just questions that you need to make sure that you're prepared for when you take your products and your kit. And they kept saying, oh, she wants acrylic. And I'm like, I don't do that. So it was obvious that that wasn't going to be the right fit for me, because you're not even listening when I tell you that I don't offer that service. So, it's super important to make sure that you find an agency that's going to listen to you, that's also going to work with you. When I signed to my agency, I had just found out that I was pregnant. And they were very accommodating. After I gave birth, they asked me, how much time do you want off? I told them, give me at least 3 weeks. And then I will try to warm up to maybe doing a job where I just do the nails and I leave, which is like, it's called the do and go. And most of the times you're only there for like 2 to 3 hours. So, once those 3 to 4 weeks had passed after I had given birth, I had, needed to let them know that I'm a breastfeeding mother. So if you're going to send me on a job where I'm going to be there all day, I need to have a space where I can pump. That is not a bathroom, because I'm not pumping in somebody's bathroom. So, they were very accommodating. And anytime I had to go to a job and it came time for me to pump, the producer on set was like, oh yeah, we have this space set aside for you, blah, 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 blah. So, it's very important to make sure that you go somewhere where you're going to be taken seriously and you're going to be heard and you're going to be, cared for, that, because you don't want to be somewhere where, like, if I would have told them, oh, I need to find somewhere to pump, and the producer would have been like, well, we didn't know that, so you can go pump in this bathroom, so it's just like little things like that. You want to make sure that wherever you go, you're going to be taken seriously. And as far as like getting an agent, my number one tip is to assist. You need to find out, number one, if there's even an agency in your area. Most of the times they're in New York, they're in LA, and I think there might be 1 or 2 in Atlanta, but I'm not 100% sure. But you need to assist. You need to find the manicurists who are on that roster and reach out to them and ask to assist them. I haven't met anyone who hasn't assisted and has like really taken off, I started out assisting because what happens is you assist a bunch of manicurists, and then there comes a point in time where if you do a good enough job, if they trust you, then when jobs come up that they can't do, they'll ask you to do them. And that's how you get your foot in the door. That's how you build up your book. That's how you get to a point where if your book and your portfolio is stacked enough, you can then take that and then try to go get your own agent.
Yeah, those are very good tips. Now I want to get into, working with celebrities. So you've done nails for Angela Bassett, Chloe and Holly, and also Yara
Mhm.
Shahidi. So what has been your experiences like working with celebrities?
It is, luckily my experiences have been really good. I haven't had any of them where they were, like negative or,
Hmm.
I haven't had any bad experiences, thank God, because I've heard horror stories. There are certain celebrities that I will not work with only because I've had friends or other manicurists who have told me, oh, I work with him, they were not very nice to me. And I'm like, once I
Hmm.
hear that, I don't need to have my own experience to know that. Like, if you treated my friend bad, I'm not going to give you the opportunity to treat me bad.
Hmm.
So, working with celebrities has been a very positive experience for me, which I'm very grateful for.
Hmm.
Um, and then with that, it's more, for me, it's more about the other people who are working
Hmm.
with them. I've been in situations where I can say there have been only a handful of times where the entire glam team has been all people of color.
Hmm.
Um, Most of the time when I'm there, I am the only person of color,
Hmm.
which has been its own experience in and of itself.
Hmm.
And for me, anytime it's been a negative experience, it's always been because of somebody else on the glam team trying to diminish my job, trying to, just be very nasty, asking questions that are just unnecessary,
Hmm.
gaslighting, like anything like that. So,
Right.
working with the celebrities themselves, very positive experience. The glam team, some of them, not so much. So, in my experience, and this hasn't been everybody's experience, but in my experience, the celebrities that I've worked with have been great.
Hmm.
And even if I would have come across a celebrity who was not so very nice to me, I would have let my agency know, or if I'm handling that job on my own, I would have, the next time they would have called, I would have just said, no, I'm booked already.
Hmm.
Because again, I'm only going to give you one time to be mean to me
Hmm.
or to be nasty. And that's it.
Yeah, that's really, really interesting, especially, dealing with celebrities, sometimes, you have like those good experiences. And I like how you had, those good experiences, working with certain celebrities and,
Yeah.
they just make you feel comfortable, that just make you feel like, hey, I'm open, you could do my nails and,
Yeah.
things of that nature, and as long as you, feel good doing it, doing, nails for certain celebrities and they make you feel comfortable, that's what counts the
Mm-hmm.
most.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask and returning to Fashion Week. So you've done Fashion Week in terms of like nails, like for Oscar de la Renta, many other celebrities. So what has been your experience doing Fashion Week, and how do you feel about the combination of nails and fashion colliding together?
Um, Fashion Week was always really fun because I got to see a lot of my friends. We, especially in New York, we were all spread out, and so the only time we would actually all be able to be together would be
Mhm.
during Fashion Week or during nail events. So working Fashion Week was always super fun.
Mhm.
Um, I love doing it because it's a very like get in, do the job, go to the next show. You're only there for like 3 or 4 hours and it's very quick. So a lot of the times
Right.
you're not even giving a full manicure. It's mostly like taking off the polish, making sure they don't have any hangnails or, cleaning up one cuticle on one hand or something like that, and then just
Right.
polishing and going. That was always my favorite time of the any kind of job during Fashion Week was super fun. As far as the accommodations, sometimes people will be really accommodating, like especially with like the hair or makeup people, and then sometimes you just run into certain people who feel like, no, this is my model, I need to work on her and I'm not going to make room for you. So
Mhm.
you deal with certain people like that, but a lot of times during Fashion Week you're sitting on the floor. um,
Mhm.
if you're a rookie, if it's like your first or second time during Fashion Week, you're sitting on the floor. After a while, you get smart and you bring a small stool to sit on so that you don't have to sit on the floor anymore. But you
Mhm.
definitely are sometimes cramped under tables. At some point, because if they are sitting in a certain chair, like let's say if you're sitting in they call them director's chairs, but typically a makeup artist will use those chairs and they sit higher up. You don't want to be sitting on the floor during that. So, you'll have a model with their hands like this, and you're standing behind them doing their nails that way. So that was always fun to try to figure out, like, how can I get in here and get these nails done so that I can like go to the next person? Because, sometimes you could have a large team of 15 manicures, or you could have a small team of like 6 people. And if there are 25 models, each of you need to do like 3 or 4 people. So, you got to figure out how to get in there and get out. And then in regards to your second question, as far as fashion and nails, I think it's becoming more of a collaborative effort with certain designers. Like I know, what shows I do were always like crazy nails. It's been so long, but I know Kenzo would do crazy nails sometimes. That's the only one that I can think of at the top of my head right now. But I know that there are other opening ceremony. Opening ceremony would always do crazy nails. Naomi, love her. I would sometimes have to assist her the day before, like prepping like 300 press-ons, because they would always want like some kind of like crazy nail, which I would absolutely love. But I think it's becoming more of a collaborative effort, because now designers are seeing like you can't just have crazy hair, crazy makeup, crazy clothes, and then plain nails. Like, I mean, you can, but it's a fully tied together look when you have the nails done too. So, just depending on who the designer is, they're either like really amped about having crazy nails, or they just want their plain sheer nail and that's it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think the combination of fashion and nails colliding together is so cool. There's another designer house that does the combination of like fashion nails, and that's the Blondes. And
yes.
Yeah, C&D always collaborates with the Blondes and does these cool, intricate nails. And it's really, really cool to see how the whole nail artwork, collides together or harmonizes or gives harmony to the whole collection. I'm trying to get the words out. So it brings harmony to the whole collection and to the whole look, with the hair, makeup, and the nails done all together. So that's really, really cool to see, and it's a joy to see, all these different styles of nails. Libertine too.
Yes, I actually went to C&D had they had a museum. What's that word? They had a section in the museum. My mind is like leaving me right now. But in California, they had like on display all of the nails from like all of these fashion shows that they went to. And I went when they had like 2 more days left. Exhibit, that's the word. I went to see the exhibit, and I'm just looking around like,
it was like, wow. Like, wow.
It was insane. It was absolutely insane. They do some crazy looks over there, but they're always amazing. Yeah.
Right. I seen a video about the C&D exhibition that they had. And one of them that I really liked was the corset, Jan's corset of like full of red nails. I was like, wow, that is amazing.
You had to see it in person. Oh,
yeah, I wish I could see it in person. It looks, the whole exhibition, that I see, especially on YouTube, it looks really, really cool. I wish I could see it in person though.
Yeah, it was nice.
It's amazing how, this amount of nail artistry is, taken to the next level, and it blows your mind. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask, in pertaining to nail competing, so you've competed in a couple of nail competitions, and one of them was Mani Wars. So what has been your whole experience like with competing?
Competing is fun. Competing, I think that when you go into a competition, you want to make sure that you don't lose yourself in the competition, and you just focus on what it is that you do well. And that's exactly what I did with Mani Wars. Like I looked up the artist that I went against, and I'm like, oh, she's good. but I didn't let that shake me to the point where, I started to question my own skills. And I just went in there and I did, what came naturally to me. And it worked out. It was really fun doing that one. And then, because that was like scaled down to like barely a 10-minute video, I think. We were there for, I think, like 2 or 3 hours working. So that was really fun. I love competing. I don't get to do too much of it now. I think the last one that I did was with Refinery, and that wasn't really a competition. It was just more of like just for fun. But, again, just being able to do something to where your creativity is kind of stretched or, it's kind of pushed a little bit is something that's really good because you discover new things about yourself during those kinds of processes.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I just seen the video with you and the other nail artists on the Refinery 29 nail art challenge. And I thought that was really, really cool. It was like this jungle themed. And one nail artist did like plants. And
she did all plants, which were crazy.
Like all these different prints. I thought your nails were really, really cool. Both of your nails are really, really nice.
Oh, thank you.
I love the amount of detail in both of you guys' work. It's really, really amazing. And, have you ever considered like doing like other nail competitions like Nail Pro Cup or Nail Olympia, things of that nature possibly?
No, because a lot of those competitions are a lot of 3D work, a lot of like sculpting, and they do a lot of stuff with acrylic. And again, that's not my ministry, so I'm not going to do that. I did do the Presto Gel Challenge in 2018, I believe it was, and I did a little bit of sculpting there. And I realized like, oh, this like takes some real skill. I mean, not that if I wanted, I couldn't like practice forever and, get better at it. But I'm just like, I don't have time for that. I'm just going to stay in my like hand painted lane and do what I do best over here.
Yeah, right. That's totally understandable. And I competed in Nail Olympia. It was like Nail Olympia online. It was a pretty good experience. So a lot of their categories range from like, flat art, it's not just 3D. Okay. They do like gel manicure, things of that nature. And one of the categories I did was flat art, and I placed third in that category. Thank you. So it was really cool to experience that. And especially you get to learn from people around the world, especially with the nail competition that you've been in. Seeing different nail styles there again, learning different techniques, so it's really an amazing experience to compete. And plus, like you said, have fun with it. Don't lose yourself in the whole, aspect in terms of why you're competing. Right. So that's very, very good tips. So I wanted to ask, in pertaining to nail art, so what is your favorite all-time nail art medium to use?
Gel.
Same. Yeah, gel is the go-to.
It was polished like when I first started out, and then I discovered gel, and I was like, okay, bye. Yeah, gel for sure.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. And also I like to do like acrylic and gouache painting as well, for nails also. So it's really cool. But yeah, I'm team gel as well. Acrylic, I'm kind of like, okay, I think gel works, a lot easier, especially if you're under the light, especially poly gel. It doesn't take a lot of time. I find acrylic to be a bit harder just because,
it's too many factors that go into it, whether it sets. Like it has to be a certain temperature outside. If it's hot, then it's more runny. If it's cold, then it's stiff. And it's like, gel doesn't give me all these problems.
Yeah, that's the thing. Same. Gel doesn't give you all those type of issues. You don't have to worry about like just trying to sculpt it before it get hard and stuff like that. Like gel, you can just paint it all day and it'll still be wet. So gel all the way. Same here. Now, what is your whole take in the progression of the beauty industry? Do you feel like it's watered down? Do you feel like, considering, social media influences, do you feel like there's a balance with nail education? Like, how do you feel about the whole beauty industry, especially the nail industry?
I have mixed feelings about it. I think that, with social media, a lot of the nail artists that are coming out now within like the last couple of years, they are seeing this microwaved success, and they equate followers to success and likes to success and all those types of things. And granted, I grew up before the internet became like a super thing, and especially social media. And I think that because of that, I don't, if certain posts don't get a certain amount of likes, I don't lose sleep at night. I'm not like, oh, I didn't get into the 100. I don't care. And then like with the beauty industry, there are certain times where there have been artists who will maybe accept a lower rate for certain jobs that's essentially too low. And so what happens is when you have an artist that accepts a rate that's too low because they're trying to get their foot into the door, they diminish the rates for the rest of us. And so I wish a lot more nail artists would just be more patient, as far as like trying to achieve certain things and not just trying to like get it immediately. Have kind of like that slow cooker success mentality, where if you just do your work, do your best, and the opportunities will come to you. Right. And then when opportunities do come, you don't always have to agree to the first thing that someone gives you. If a company reaches out to 5 nail artists, and if 3 of them know that I'm not going to do this job for less than $500, and then you get one of the nail artists who says, well, I'm not going to do the job for less than $300. And then you get the one nail artist that is thinking, well, I really want to work with this brand, so I'll accept it for $75. And it's like, you have now made it more difficult for us to charge what our actual worth is, because you're accepting a rate that's lower than what the going rate is.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We're back after quite a while. So here we are. Let's continue. Now, what is your whole take of how would you define success in the beauty industry?
I think success would be objective to, or is it subjective? Let me start that over. Success, I think, depends on how individual people define it. Like for me, I feel like when I've done a really good job on a set of nails, or, someone will compliment it, then that to me is a success. I am very motivated by when I look back at something and I'm proud of what I've done. That to me is successful. I try not to allow other people to define what success should be for me. And so because I am a little bit of a perfectionist, when I can just look and appreciate my work and not tear it apart or pick it apart, that to me is success for me. Yeah.
That's a very good answer. I believe that, I believe the same way, because, I think success, everyone defines it differently. It's not just about the materialistic things. And of course, that's nice to have those materialistic things like, purses, cars, a house, and stuff like that.
Right.
But also I think what's most important is enjoying what you do. And, I've heard the saying is, if you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I like how you talked about earlier with the slow cook thing, and that reminds me so much of what Miami Ashley said. It's like, I remember a time where I seen a clip of her at the Bonner Brothers show, and she said, we don't microwave, we slow cook. And it's basically saying that it's a journey, it's a process in terms of success. It's not a rush type of deal. So, I like how you brought that up. And yeah, it's just enjoying what you do. And also, how do you balance work and like regular life?
That doesn't exist. I mean, honestly, since becoming a mom, it's definitely a juggling act. And it's more about, what does my child need in this moment? And is that more important than my work? And my kid is always going to come first, like no matter what. I don't care, what it is that I'm doing. If my kid needs me, that's just where I'm going. So I work as much as I can until motherhood requires me to go and attend to my kid. So balancing to me is just getting done when you can get done. And then, when my kid needs me, my kid needs me. So I do what I can in that short amount of time or long amount of time, however amount of time I have. I do whatever I can get done in that moment. And then when it's time for me to put the mom hat on, that's just what I'm doing. So that kind of to me is a balance as far as like, motherhood and workhood and all those kind of things.
Now, what's next for you? Like, what are like your future plans possibly?
Well, I'm working on a couple of things, but I definitely want to do more of the news reporting as far as like nails are concerned, just sharing information. I have my degree in broadcast journalism, and so I'm thinking of a way or coming up with a way to combine those two things, combine all things nails and all things news. So that's really where I'm headed in the next step of my career.
Awesome. That's great. Now, and where can people find you on social media, and what is your website?
My website is themimid.com. And you can find me on Instagram at Nails by Mimi. And that's really the only two places where like I really put forth the effort in my work. I try not to spread myself too thin. So I'm like not really on TikTok, not really on Twitter. I mean, I have those accounts just because, you have to like at least try whatever's coming out. But Instagram and on my website, that's where you can find me.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mimi. It's such a pleasure to interview you. Thank you so much for taking the time out, despite the little mini Wi-Fi hangups, that we were having.
It's all good.
Thank you so much. I am so happy to interview you because you're very, very, expressive. I love your story. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Your article is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And this is a great, at this climate, it's awesome to see that us as Black women are supporting each other. And
yes,
especially with the businesses, what we create and things of that nature. So thank you so much again.
Of course. Thank you for having me. This was a lovely interview, and I wish nothing but the best for you and anything else that you put your hands on. This is amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, same to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms as well as visiting my website, ASIATHABIRD.com, and be on the lookout for more videos to come soon. Take care, stay safe, and stay healthy.